Welcome to the podcast, Kill Complacency. Here we inspire intentional living by motivating others to handle hard better. And here's your host, Marty Hofmann.
This is part 2 of Pam Greening's podcast on really helping people with their finances. She is with Growing Oaks Credit Union, and I really enjoyed this podcast, getting more in depth and more in the weeds with how they serve and how they help people. But I also really enjoyed hearing her final mission to the audience. Because what was your takeaway from?
Yeah, Pam really has like a passion and a heart for what she does, and you can just tell by the way she talks about it. So I'm really excited for you guys to be able to hear just how excited she gets about everything and how much she actually cares about people.
We talked a lot about Nehemiah at the end, and I can really totally see Pam and her husband living that out in their later part of their life. So it's really, really cool to see them so empowered to live all that God has intended them to live, but also mirroring that for us so that we will do more with our lives too. Lots of plugs in here for people not only struggling financially, but also people who are in a good place financially to be able to put their money to work for a good cause and help other people get out of the bondage of week to week and the rat race. So I hope this is beneficial to you, and I hope that you guys will just really appreciate everything Pam has for you. When you and I talked about you coming on, you talked to me a little bit about, maybe this isn't the right word, but I'm going to call it underwriting. The background, I don't know. How you guys are so much different in that, because so many, I'm going to call them banking institutions, they have their formula, right? I'm not even sure what it is, but credit score, employment history, whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's a yay or nay in a matter of a short amount of time, where you guys look into more of that. What are, right. Talk to me about a little bit about that.
I would say our model is, so there are banking institutions that kind of automate as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then there are places where I would say we're more of a what our industry would call a manual underwriting process.
Okay.
We're really breaking about the credit score is an indicator,
sure.
And certainly if you've got a healthy one, then things can move, really quickly. Yeah. But it isn't a knockout. Sure. So it's like, okay, it is what it is. Why is it that way? What's the story behind it? What have we got to work with today? That what can we build on?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a not yet. It's not,
okay.
So it's not,
sure.
It's like, we can't do it just yet. Here's some things to do to get to a place where we can get you into the vehicle that you want. Here's kind of the interim steps to get there. We don't want to get them just retrapped again.
Sure.
So it's really doing more of that work. And so because we are trying to go deep with our membership and not necessarily wide, we take it's a lot more time intensive.
Sure.
And not all banks and credit unions have a model that has that kind of time allocated to that.
Yeah. Or
they might have a special program inside of their institution that does that. For us, that's all we do. Now we also are supported through our members that choose, that say they have a healthy credit score,
okay.
700 credit score. They come and they borrow from us as well, pay a little bit. It's a little bit higher rate than they would get maybe at the dealership
somewhere
or something.
Yeah.
But that provides capital for us to operate
Continue
too.
To go, yeah.
So we have that balance. And we track, how well we're, as far as percentage-wise, how many members are really in that lane that we are on mission to help and keep an eye on that balance. But
is the biggest thing you guys need, Pam, is it deposits? so you can help more people?
It really is both.
Because I know it's a circle, right?
Deposits and opportunities to meet with folks that we can help dig out of a high-priced car loan, or if they are way upside down because they overpaid for the vehicle, which happens often, finding a way to help them work out of that. Proactively, if you're shopping, we're saying, hey, call us. We'll tell you what the real value of that vehicle is. Whether we help you with the financing or not, just give us a call. Let us make sure that you don't overpay for something, and we do that for
Pam,
folks
what are
too.
some simple tools? I mean, simple tools. Like I have a 16-year-old daughter, and she's wanting to buy a car. And so I told her, I said, first of all, just do your research, decide what you want, and then use Kelley Blue Books to determine the value and see if it's a good deal. What would you guys, if I'm calling you today and saying, hey, I want to buy this 2012 Honda Accord, what would you tell me?
You're going to give us the VIN number, and we're going to use the same valuation tool that the dealerships use.
Okay.
An ADA valuation, and we're going to tell you based on mileage, the condition of the car.
So similar to Kelley Blue Books.
Yeah.
Because that's how it. Have you been on Kelley Blue?
I have.
Punch it in.
Yeah.
And then I always tell my daughter, it's in good condition. It's not excellent.
Most people do. Yeah.
And then
mileage is really important.
Yeah.
I don't know if Kelley Blue Book decodes the VIN to get all of the, whether or not they're add-ons or whether you have to do that.
It does.
But anyways,
it doesn't do that. But I know there's other websites you can go to do a VIN check.
Yeah.
And find out about accident reports and so forth, so on.
Right. Yep, those are great tools.
But you guys would have your own software.
We do that. We can do that for you, but by all means, do the research yourself. And if you're shopping for a car, I would have that in your pocket and have the dealer explain, why it is $5,000 more than this. And they should have an explanation for it. There might be features that add-ons or takeaways that you didn't incorporate, but I think that is a good way to make sure that you aren't starting out backwards behind it. Yeah.
Because you and I talked a little bit before, and one way that you see people get behind is overpaying for a car, and then getting hit with high interest rates, where you end up paying for a car 2 or 3, maybe 4 times even maybe.
I would say the best thing to do if you're going to finance, especially with anybody, a bank or a dealership, and this is law, that I would not focus so much on the interest rate as I would the APR, the annual percentage rate, because that incorporates any fees. I've heard, I had one family come in, they were working with a typically high-priced car lot, and they said, we're getting 0% interest. Okay, well, what are the fees that are added on? Or they were charging $4,000 more than the value of the car, and then there was a $1,000 back end fee. So it's really, you're paying 0% interest, but are you really? So you look at the APR, everything that has the value of the car doesn't go in there, but any fees that they're adding on, and really take a look at that number, and that's designed so that we can go shopping different places for financing and compare apples to apples. That's with any loan. So I think getting used to asking that question rather than focusing so much on the interest rate, and then checking your value.
The APR. And what does APR stand for?
Annual percentage rate.
Annual percentage
So that is
rate.
the total cost to finance, fees and interest rate. You got to know it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, I think Barack Obama did it with credit cards. He added that on there where if you pay just the minimum, it would take so long.
Oh, yeah, that was some of it. Yeah.
Wasn't that?
Yeah, I don't remember whose administration that was under.
But it was so educational.
Yeah.
You suddenly saw, if I make the minimum payment on this credit card, it's going to take me 12 years or 20 years.
Or 40,
40 years. But if I make just $100 extra, it's X amount of time.
Right.
So
the other tool that I would suggest that folks do is really sit down and do a real genuine monthly budget. Take the last couple of months' bank statements all the times you're going to the Quick Trip or On Q or whatever, all the times you're Amazon, your subscriptions. You know, one of the big things now is the buy now, pay later. That stuff's not reported on your credit, but it is going to come out. The other thing is sometimes I'll say, what's your car payment? Well, $336 every other week. Okay, so they split it up like that. So really, honestly, track your spending. Make sure what you really got and what you can eliminate. Some of our members that are not yet saying that they can handle a $350, $400 payment. All right, let's take the next 90 days and you put that money into a savings account. Prove to yourself and feel what you're going to have to change because you don't have that in savings today.
Really good.
It's going somewhere. So now pretend that you have that payment, pay yourself, you know, improve, see what lifestyle changes you're going to have to make because you may find out, I don't want to do that.
That's really good.
So those are some of the tools, some of the testing you can do before you go shopping for the car and you get all excited and
your emotions get involved.
Emotions get involved. You got to have it.
And you just want it.
It's the last car in the world that they're ever going to have like that, so you better get it now.
And that
I've been there. I've done it.
Reeling you in.
Yeah.
So. If you mentioned earlier subscriptions as well. I think that's another thing anymore. We don't realize how much they cost us.
Yeah.
I haven't done it in a little bit. Probably 2 years ago I sat down and I just wrote them all out. And it was a big, you know, Microsoft Word, Amazon Prime at the time.
The TV streaming.
Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of software, Netflix. I mean, you can get a really big list and it's $9.99 a month and you don't realize how many of those add up.
Yeah. The little pieces.
To a lot. And a lot of times we double ourselves. We don't need all those things.
Right.
So that's another advantage to actually sitting down and budgeting it out, writing it out, seeing where it's going.
And understanding, you know, ATM, you take that money out, that's $100, where did it go? You know, or the Cash App now too, moving money around that way. It's like, what did you spend all that on? Yeah.
What do you have to show for it?
Yeah, and just track it. I mean, it's for your own you're doing yourself a favor, really. You are, really. Just knowing what your habits are. So
when I was a kid, we'd buy candy, and my dad would always look at it and say, "You're just flushing that money down the drain." Because that's all we would do, you know.
Yeah.
We'd go in and come out.
And I'm not saying don't have pleasurable things in your life, you know, but don't strap yourself either, because then you're not really enjoying them, you know. So.
Have you read Richest Man in Babylon?
No, I haven't.
That's a book you guys should give to your people.
Okay.
It's an old book, maybe 1920s, maybe 1930s. The setting is ancient Babylon. So it's, you know, the coins are in a purse, and it's this guy giving advice to people about their money and putting it to work. But a point he makes is really, it doesn't matter how big your purse is, how much money you have, it always is gone by the end of the week, right? And that's something else I think that people think, well, if I get a raise, then I can't afford it. But a lot of times they get the raise and then the money's gone, right?
Right.
And that, I guess you kind of talked about that earlier in regards to talking through the process of if you get $1,000 bonus, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
And what does that look like?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think if you can gamify it with yourself. So we had one man that had a lot of credit card debt, and he started working, you know, that like try and get this one paid off, then this one, put everything. And he started getting so excited. He even told us, he's like, my brain just keeps going. I can't shut it off, because he got so excited about it. So I think if you can, you know, make it fun, not like it's like, it's like, what can we do? Can we find a way to carve away this much this month? Let's just do it. And you got the whole family doing it. When we first got married, you know, we were way behind when we first got married, but, you know, just started like throwing change in a jar.
Yeah.
We would slug the jug $1 each of us each day, you know, and it's phenomenal. Just making a little game out of it. And just the other day we lugged our coins, you know, and over to the coin counting machine, and, you know, helps pay for a fishing trip, you know, so, fun.
There was a lady I helped take her coins. She had a 5-gallon pail. This is this last year. And she asked me to take it to the bank for her. And I think it weighed like 180 pounds. So it was really heavy. But yeah, we took it there. I took my kids. And of course the bags at the counting machine got full, so we got to see inside the machine. But it was amazing. It was like, I want to say it was like $2,500. And it was just over the years, it was that spare change that she saved.
Yeah.
And the compound. So yeah, we don't realize sometimes the compound effect that can happen
Right.
in the little things, the pennies and nickels and dimes.
Yeah, for sure.
So Pam, we could probably talk all day, and maybe we'll have you back, because I think there's a lot of benefit to what you guys are after and your mission to not only educate people, but then give them that vehicle to go do more with their life. But I want to ask you 2 more questions.
All right.
And then we'll wrap this up. First question is favorite book of all time or influencer. Like who has been somebody in Pam Greenley's life that has affected you?
You know, we talk to scripture, of course, you know,
sure.
gospel. But probably in 2015, I grabbed a book by, his last name is Ortberg, and the name of the book is If You Want to Walk on Water, You Got to Get Out of the Boat. And he's written a lot of great books. And that was about the time I was getting unsettled in my career and starting to, you know, God was pestering me about, you know, I've equipped you for the last 35 years. What do you know, how can I use this? And so that book really talked about, you know, you hear Jesus saying, come on, you know, but you got to climb out of that boat. And what is your boat? And just kind of examining that. So that was really the first challenge in 2015. In 2015, I actually took a leave of absence from my work to go up to Alaska with a mission that my husband was an aviation ministry. And so I went up there and was like, should I be a missionary? You know, I just knew there was something. So that one kind of got me opening up my heart to, now what can God do with all of this? But the book I'm reading right now that I've got to plug, I'm sorry. So Jansen Miller just published a book a couple months ago called Now Before Next, and it's about stewarding the resources that God has given you. So once you get rolling, all of a sudden there's all these ideas and these resources come your way, these people and these relationships, and yet you see like you have this vision and this that God's giving you, and you're like, but I need this, but I need that. And her book just really talks about just stop for a minute and examine what God has already given you to work with. Are you fully utilizing all those resources? It could be funding, it could be relationships, it could be opportunities, it could be ideas, it could be, you know, and really God isn't going to give you more till you're using the resources that you already have. And so it's great when you get into a leadership role of something and like, what do I do next? Well, take care of what you've got now and really flesh that all out and go after that. She uses the illustration of the buffalo, and it's like our Native American community members, they would like use the whole buffalo. Yeah. Not to, you know, it's like every piece of it was used. Be sure that every resource that God has given you is fully being used before you're asking him for more. Now, he may provide other things. Sure. There could be things coming out of here, you know, and how do you prioritize that so you make sure that you don't have mission drift? Or for me, it's like projects that get started and don't quite get finished, or, you know, a relationship, all of a sudden I realize we had a great conversation, but I haven't called him back in 4 months have passed. Or I said I was going to do something and I didn't do it, you know. And so to me, that's the one that's really, you know, in my grill right now, and really like lay that all out there. Like, what is God? And when you lay it all out and see what God has already given you to work with, it's humbling, and you're like, ooh, I got to finish, you know, that. So, yeah.
I'm going to look that one up.
You got, yes. She's a dynamic gal, young gal, and I know her personally, and she's just awesome. Check it out. Jansen Miller, she's top-notch gal here in Oklahoma City.
Is she? Okay.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah.
Last question. You had one message for the world.
One message.
What's your message?
My message is don't let God be bored with your life. You know, there's this, I've been thinking a lot about the risk of slow obedience. You know, it's, as believers, sometimes we're doing some good. We know some good to do. We don't tell God no when he lays something on our heart, or he prompts us to make a phone call or a visit or to do something. But we're slow about getting on with it, you know. Fred read something the other day on Facebook. Procrastination is the assassination of your destination. You know, and so I think that's my message. And when we started working on this, I remember telling somebody, we don't have a strategic plan. You know what? We know the problem that we want to try and solve, and we're just going to get going. And we don't want God to like look over here and like, yeah, you know. We're like, what are they doing? You know, and we want the enemy to be worried that we woke up this morning.
Yeah.
And so I would just say, just be courageous. You have a Father that like is excited about what you can do. You're a creator, created in his image, and just step on the gas and go. And it's just be a great adventure. My husband and I are in the time of our life where you're thinking about retirement.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind telling you, I'm 68, he's 83. Okay, so, and it's like we started this, you know, just a few years ago, because it's like, you know, it's like God doesn't want us to just stagnate.
No, he doesn't want us to retire.
No, absolutely. It's not in the
Always
Bible.
serve. Yeah.
It's not in the Bible. We tell people we're pre-tired, you know, but that's what I would say. Don't let God get bored with you. Go out there. He loves you, you know, stay in his word, seek his guidance, and don't be slow about being obedient. We've all made those phone calls that we should have made 2 weeks ago, and that's when your friend was hurting. If I'd only known. No, you knew. You just didn't listen. You know, that's a simple example, but I think it's in all aspects of our life. And so I think that's we got to go.
It kind of reminds me in the Bible of Nehemiah. I think it was Nehemiah. Was it Nehemiah or Ezra who rebuilt the wall? And no one could have believed how quickly he was doing it.
Yeah, Nehemiah.
But he was just a man of action. God wasn't bored with him.
Didn't get distracted.
No.
Didn't make alliances that weren't, you know, you can have alliances that are compatible, but they're not necessarily mission alignment, you know. So nothing bad about them, but they're not going to move forward. So being able to sift through that when you're coming up with people that want to join you or whatever, that requires, you know, prayer and wisdom. And Nehemiah had that nailed. And I think, you know, he's a great example of that. It's like he knew what he was supposed to be doing. He stayed on task.
And the people prior to him, I mean, not prior, before him, they very much had all this time and weren't doing anything.
Yeah. The other thing that Nehemiah was bold about was for asking for help. He, you know, and he was concerned about this, praying about provision, you know, and a heathen king notices that there's something on his heart. It was that close.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, I need this, you know. So I think recognizing that none of us are alone, that we have friends and people that we can partner with who have a heart about it. And this is the kind of stuff we need to be talking about when we gather for a dinner with friends, or, you know, after spending some time at the park or whatever. It's like, hey, what's going on with you? What are you feeling
really
like you would
on?
like to accomplish, you know? And see what you can build together. About that time, too, I was going through Salt and Light Leadership program, which is another great leadership program to go through to really examine, like, what are you doing with this that God's given you, and how can it benefit the city? And so there's
good.
some great plugs for other people to check out those things. So thanks for letting me share that.
Pam, how do we find out more about you guys?
You know, we do have a website. We are praying for website designers and improvement in our marketing and all that kind of stuff and getting the word out. But yeah, Growing Oaks, FCU abbreviated for Federal Credit Union.com. You can learn about us. There's a contact us there.
Okay.
And that's the best way to start. There's a phone number there that you can find out. And any one of the folks there at the office be happy to share with anything you want to know about us. So hope that you'll join us.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, Pam.
Thank you. It's been a blast. Really appreciate it.
Hey, just wanted to thank you guys for listening to the end. In closing, I just wanted to add that if this message resonates with you, if it aligns with your values, and something in it today triggered something, then you can also look me up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. We are really trying to help people live more intentional lives to kill the complacency with which they have subscribed to. I know there's many ways which I get sucked in all the time. So if this is beneficial, follow me there, spread the message, share. And if you want to wear a billboard of a message of kill complacency or live intentionally, then check out my merch store in show notes as well. But it's www.mindsetshop.com. Mindset is with an X, so it's MINDXET shop, SHOP.com, mindsetshop.com. Check it out. Thank you guys so much, and have a great one.
Thank you for listening to Kill Complacency. Follow and share our podcast to change lives and inspire growth.